Hello, this is Mish, and welcome to this recap review of Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 1. So this is called Dragonstone. So what I'll do is I'll break this recap down into the characters, the main characters, development, and then just do a bit of a quick review on that. So this will contain spoilers going forward, and also I have not read the books, so this will not contain any information from the books if that's what you're after. So let's start with the first scene. So we see Arya Stark and the Freys. Well, we see Walder Frey, and if you remember from last season, Arya slit his throat. So she is betraying him. She invites all the Freys into the feasting hall to have a big feast, and she poisons them all. So a great speech from her, a great start to the season as well. It's good to see a positive, I guess, a victory. Well, you probably can't call it positive, but a victory for a good-ish person. So it was good to see a nice way to start, because we've been so downbeaten by all our positive characters being killed off and being disheartened. It's good to see that this season started off like this. So great start, but it was short-lived in a way that as soon as we came back after the credits, we saw the army of the dead marching towards the south, so marching towards the wall. So, straight away it's saying a bit of happiness, but then don't forget this. So later on we also see Arya, she's on a horse leaving the Frey area, and she meets a band of singing soldiers. Once again, another quite a good scene there, showing a bit of, I guess, positivity, lightheartedness, an optimistic side of the world as well. But the cynic in me says, pity, because they're all probably going to die anyway. So, and funny enough as well, I don't know if you noticed it, but I thought it was him. So Ed Sheeran was one of the singers. I don't know if you picked it up. I'm not familiar with his music, but I guess I recognize his face and who he is. But had to check the credits to confirm that, and it was. So I thought it was pretty funny. Don't know if you picked it up, but I thought it was quite amusing. Pretty strange as well that they put someone like that in there. But anyway, moving on. So let's talk about the Starks around the wall. So we see Brandon Stark arrive at the base of the wall to be let in, him and Mira Reed. So it doesn't take much convincing for Edison to let them in. So Brandon mentions a situation where Edison met the White Walkers and saw it. So all he had to do was tell him that he knew that happened, and he let him in. So that was all we really saw from them in this episode. So let's move on to Jon Snow and Sansa. So we see them, I guess, just rounding up the houses of the north to prepare for what's coming. Very interesting conversation, I guess, very interesting debate. What happened with where Sansa was saying, no, take their castles off these houses, they betrayed us. And Jon was on the other side of it saying no. Pretty awkward situation to have that debate in front of all the people that are looking up to you in that situation. But it was pretty cool to see. The kind of, not so much a power struggle, but it's good that it's in an environment where they can have that situation without someone getting their head chopped off. And we see after that breaks down, I guess we see the houses that have betrayed him with the Boltons. He lets them keep their castles. So it's pretty cool. I think that's probably the positive way to do it, because then you have more soldiers in general, and they need the numbers for what's coming. So then we see, a bit of a conversation with Jon and Sansa, and then we see Littlefinger come around a bit later as well. He's just hanging around. I think we all know why. And it was great as well to see Sansa Stark. Her evolution throughout the seasons has been pretty amazing. Now she's such a... I guess she's had such a brutal run of it. Now she's, she started so innocent as she was, and now she's very shrewd and very confident and very smart. It's pretty cool to see how she pretty much outwits Littlefinger, and she just kind of shuts him down, and he just waddles off. So it's pretty cool to see, but I'm not sure how that's going to all play out with that. It's going to be interesting to see. What are your thoughts on that? Okay, so now let's swing over to King's Landing and talk about Cersei and Jaime. So another interesting conversation between those two, how he wants to talk about it and she just won't accept it, and she's ruthless in how she's kind of moving on, but then I guess she has a point where move on with the living type of thing. But we see that she has a plan. So she has reached out to Euron Greyjoy because she needs his ships. She has got a plan there to use his ships as her navy. Interesting as well. What will Euron steal to convince her? He doesn't. I think I don't know if he knows he's being played as badly as he is, but they need him so badly. He didn't even need to do this. I don't know why he's bothering, but interesting enough anyway. But what will he steal to win her heart? Or I guess is he's trying to portray there. Okay, so I'll talk about that. That's kind of the question I want to have at the end. So I'll go back to that. But let's move over to Samuel Tully. So we see him learning the ropes of the Maester, and that was a fantastic sequence of scenes there. I really liked that. I thought it was quite funny. So the cleaning, the chores, it was pretty rugged at points. But we see him trying to get into getting the good books, into trying to get the information about the White Walkers and the history and stuff like that. He ends up just stealing the books, and he finds the map of Dragonstone as well. So the dragon glass is buried beneath the ground under Dragonstone. So at that point, I assume he says he has to tell Jon Snow. I assume he's going to send a raven. That's my assumption that happened. I don't know what your thoughts are. I mean, he could do otherwise, but that'll be the quickest. We also see at the end of Samwell's scenes, we see him going about his cleaning and feeding as he was doing his chores, and he goes to swap the bowl out to the prisoner, or you think it's I guess not so much a prisoner, but someone in medical need, but they're kind of in prison cells. So it's quite strange, I guess, and it makes sense in a way when we see what happens. But we see the hand come out, and it's a stone hand. So that was Jorah Mormont. So if you remember, he was from last season when he got cut, and he was escorting Tyrion Lannister as well. So he managed to get back to, I guess, civilization that wants to try and help him, even though it doesn't necessarily look like it. I think they probably are trying to figure out a way to fix him. So where will that end up? But that was him, so it was good to see he's still around. Now let's move on to the Hound, so Clegane. And he's with the Brotherhood of without banners. So Clegane I think he's a fascinating character. Once again, his evolution throughout these seasons has been really cool. He started off as such a negative, evil character that he was very entertaining, but you kind of loved to hate him. And now he's it's interesting because he went back to that house, that cottage where he actually killed, I guess, the father and the daughter, in theory, not directly, but his actions obviously caused that situation to occur. And he's gone back and he has that guilt and that conscience that he never seemed to have before. So it was an interesting scene, and it was a pretty powerful, moving scene as well. I thought it was really cool, really good acting from those guys. I really liked that one. And obviously as well, even though he is a much more positive character now with a conscience, he's still a foul-mouthed, witty character who manages to make me laugh at almost everything he says. So really cool. I like that scene. I thought it was pretty good character development from all those characters in there. Good to learn more about the Brotherhood of Banners as well. So that was quite good. Probably the last things that happened here. So it was Daenerys landing on Dragonstone. So she lands with a few other people. So it was Tyrion, Grey Worm, Varys, I think. And it seems that she's going to make that her base of operations. So Dragonstone is the castle that's located on Blackwater Bay. So that's the ancestral seat of the Targaryens, so House Targaryens. So that was where her family would have been based initially, before the obviously previous situation occurred. Interesting as well, if you didn't pick up, that was the location that Lord Stannis was based at. So when he was running his campaign, initially in the first few seasons, he was based out of there. Then obviously he moved away from it because he was attacking heavily and all his troops were gone. But that's where he was. If you remember the scenes with him in the room with that table, that was where it all occurred. Back to the Dragonstone. So that is the location that Samwell mentioned that has the dragon glass. So we're going to need to see Jon work with Daenerys to get that dragon glass. So that will be interesting to see how that pans out. But yeah, that was a recap of probably the most part. There's obviously intricacies there that are overlooked, but that's for the most part there. So really good episode. I really liked it. It was almost, for me, it was like a catch-up episode of the sequence of events that I thought would have panned out from the last season. So that was good to see all that. It was a very slow episode, but I thought it was quite good, and it's building that tension of the battles that are coming. battles across multiple fronts. So it's going to be really fascinating to see how this all pans out. But some very important, powerful scenes. Clegane stuff, I thought that was really cool to see his character development. Arya was good as well with where she's going. And Cersei's as well. Cersei's and Jaime, and Cersei's instinct and reaction to losing all her children like that is quite fascinating. It's quite interesting to see what's going on there. But once again, it was a slow episode. I did enjoy it. Wasn't one of the better ones, but still, it's good to get it back. And I think it's definitely building the tension. It was a good episode. So I guess the question that I have from this episode, which I'll put out to you guys, I have my theory on what it is. So the question is, what will Euron Greyjoy try to steal to win Cersei's heart, or to win her hand in marriage so they can rule together? For me, my immediate thought was he's going to try and steal Tyrion Lannister and kidnap him and bring him back. I don't think a financial, a treasure or anything like that would do for her. It has to be something of meaning, and the only thing I think she wants that she doesn't have, apart from power over all the land, would be him, because he's the one that's got away from her. So that's the thing. I think if there's anything that she wants, that'll be that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little recap review. I'll keep going with these as the season progresses if you guys like this. So please thumbs up if you did like it, and subscribe for future content from me on Game of Thrones. And also I'm looking at Twin Peaks as well, so stay tuned for that one. I'll try and get that one as soon as possible. Out as soon as possible, I should say. So until next time, this is Mish, and I'll see you later.